what they're doing is not protesting. This is not protest. They are not standing up for anything. They are not supporting what they truly believe in. They are intentionally inciting violence and riots, and it is coming from people like Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar.
Let's talk about Don Lemon.
I am so sick of the race card from him. I am so sick of the sexuality card for him. The fact that he has a white partner, you know.
And yet he talks about how white people are broken and there's something missing within us internally. I just find it very disingenuous.
Can you name one U.S. politician that is not wealthy?
No, true enough.
How many within the first 5 years of them getting into a position of power that they became millionaires?
Out of all the deportations, all the ICE arrests that are happening in all these other states, why is Minneapolis such a focal point? Why is Minneapolis such a hot spot? Here we are, Be Great, in the beautiful fucking state of Florida. Conservative Kayla, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You and I had just been speaking for about half an hour, so we're going to revisit some of those topics, but let's just jump back to where this all started for you. Like, why did you make the transition from someone who has a job, a mother of 5, to putting yourself out there?
You know, it's actually kind of a funny story. There was a coworker of mine who said, you know what, Kayla, you're so well-spoken, you're so articulate, maybe you should get into TikTok. And that's really where it started for me. My platform was TikTok. And I was one of those anti-TikTok people. I was like, you know what, I'm never getting online. I would never put myself out there like that.
How long ago was that?
Almost 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Almost 2 years ago. And I tried to kind of figure out what was going to be my thing. And originally it was family oriented like stuff, and that just wasn't moving. And here we are around election time. Donald Trump's running for president of the United States again, and Butler, Pennsylvania happened. And there was something with that just sparked me.
Yeah.
And that's where it took off for me.
Politics.
Do
you find in the realm of social media that it's the more outrageous or the more scandalous or the more divisive things you put out that garner the most attention and traction?
What's sad is yes.
Fuck, I know.
Yes.
From time to time, I'll put out something motivational or something good, and it doesn't do nearly as good as well as the more abrasive shit that I do.
People want drama. Anything that if you are not very specific and detailed, anything that they can pick apart and manipulate and morph into something else, that's what I say this all the time. A lie will spread faster than a Gavin Newsom managed wildfire.
Yes. It's kind of sad because it speaks to the mentality of our psyche. And you know, you should always aspire to be more than that. But I mean, I have to admit, I love the scandalous shit too, right? So I'm a petty bitch that way. But it is rather sad that, you know, that we sort of gravitate towards the gossip and the negative shit when there's so much to be positive for. Okay, so proceeding with that, you got into social media. You found that, were you very political prior to that, just on a personal level?
Not so much so. At one point, yes. So when I was in high school, I was dual enrolled, graduated from high school early.
Nice.
I worked off a curriculum called We the People. So it was not your traditional history, civics, government curriculum. I did mock trials. So at that point in my high school career going into debate, yes, I was very much into politics. But after high school, you know, now I'm old enough to vote, the Obama era. And
what do you think of Obama?
Well, I despise the guy. I think that he is what set us back immensely. I think that we had made so much progress, and because of Obama reigniting, in my opinion, racism, that was fading away. A lot of people thought that Barack Obama was going to be the guy to bring us together, to really get away from systemic racism and racism as a whole, and it actually had the complete opposite effect.
I agree.
And it has been a decline since then. And over the last 2 decades, we have had such a progressive increase that I don't know at this point how we recover from all of this. And it's really sad to say that. I mean, it's going to take a lot of time. We've been set back so far.
Where we run similar, you being American, me being Canadian for now, is that I don't think Canada can be saved. I think we are so prison fucked that I don't think that ship can be rewrited. Is that rewrited? Rewritten. Anyway, fixed. So I love the States, dude. So, and I agree with you on your critique of Obama. What I find also offensive is that he did things that Trump right now is being criticized for. The deportations, and yet because he was a Democrat, perhaps that gave him, but I think we could also assume that people are much more hip to social media now than they were back then.
This was not a thing back then.
Right.
You didn't have the mass chaos. You didn't have the extremism. I mean, the reach with all the different platforms now, it wasn't a thing back then.
Agreed.
And so now it's amplified to another level. But the other sad part is people trying to normalize hate and hypocrisy, and it blows up.
Yeah, and then you have to question why there are certain narratives that are being pushed to further incite that kind of violence. Like, let's talk about Minneapolis. You have all these, it's fucking crazy to me, when we were at Waffle House, shout out to Waffle House, that there was the California mayor, right? That is saying that she wants gang members to start attacking ICE members. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
It's so crazy to me. And here's another interesting thing, and let me know your thoughts. Out of all the deportations, all the ICE arrests that are happening in all these other states, why is Minneapolis such a focal point? Why is Minneapolis such a hot spot?
Because it's a blue state and it's a sanctuary city.
Okay.
I mean, if you look at deportations across the board in the United States, our biggest issues are in sanctuary cities. We're not having the resistance anywhere else. Look at here in the state of Florida. We have had a handful of incidents where you've got your radicals trying to go out and fight against ICE, but those issues are non-existent here.
It's a very interesting point.
There's a common theme.
Right.
And it revolves around blue states and sanctuary cities.
So for people that don't know, what define a sanctuary city?
Well, cities that are not going to abide by federal immigration laws, then that's what they are designed to do.
Okay. So let's segue into Alex Pretti. Because I've been quite vocal about this. One of the things that I don't understand, first of all, several things. A, how it took 6 or 7 ICE members to drop that guy. I need me to drop that guy once. No, I don't need 6 people. That to me was a little fucked up. But you could go on to the fact that it was chaotic. Perhaps they're untrained. That's why I firmly believe that all, police, ICE agents should at least have a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, right? So there's that. I think he was a piece of shit, okay? I'm not, you're going to have the knee-jerk reaction. Everyone has to say, well, it's sad when anybody dies. I think he was a piece of shit. Sorry. What recently came out about the 11 days prior to his shooting, how he was spitting, telling people, the ICE officers, to assault him. Why are people fucking around with these people? Let them do their jobs. Yeah. But the question to you is, why are not Minneapolis police helping ICE? Why are they not doing crowd control?
Because they don't want to. They have no interest in it. And they are being instructed not to do that, not to engage. Because they want to create the mass chaos. The chaos is what's bringing the attention. And then also taking the attention off fraud.
Thank you.
So Tim Walz,
douchebag.
Yeah. I mean, Ilhan Omar, they are all involved in this massive fraud scheme. You cannot tell me, you're not going to be able to convince me otherwise, that they are not privy on some level to what's going on if they are not directly a part of what's been going on.
For sure. There's no way, at least they're not aware of the bullshit.
Right. This is all a distraction. And, going back to Alex Pretti, yes, I agree he was a piece of shit. I mean, there's been information released also that he wasn't an active nurse, that he had actually quit his job.
I heard he got fired.
Okay, that he had
for
gotten
inappropriate
fired
behavior.
for inappropriate behavior, and that even his family's members said that they saw a change in his behavior overall, that he was becoming more radicalized and progressive. So my thing is, let these guys do their job. If you let them do their job, we're not going to have these issues.
Seems simple.
People don't want to let them do their job because they think that they're fighting for something.
Do they really, though? Or do you think that they just need to feel a part of something bigger than themselves because they're a bunch of fucking losers?
I think it's both. It's a double-edged sword, right? And then we also have paid protesters. So now, how are we truly going to decipher from somebody who is sitting back and saying, you know what? No, we need to have immigration reform. We need to be looking at this differently. If they were approaching this the right way, if they were electing the right officials to target these areas of concern, it'd be different. What they're doing is not protesting. This is not protest. They are not standing up for anything. They are not supporting what they truly believe in. They are intentionally inciting violence and riots, and it is coming from people like Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar who are constantly advocating for this violent rhetoric. And then people want to divert back to January 6th. Do you notice that that is the only date that these folks managed to come up with when it comes to combating things like Minneapolis?
And I don't even think it's a fair comparison.
It's not.
I agree. First of all, nobody died. I think one or two people died. A gentleman died afterwards due to heart problem. Exactly. Right? There was I don't recall anyone storming the Capitol with weapons either. Right? So again, as we spoke prior, to me, the truth is important.
Right.
So if you're going to argue with me based on bullshit and lies, then you really have nothing to stand on. Shut the fuck up.
Yep.
Right? That's my whole problem with that. My only issue is, and I hope they do come up with something, if you've taken a look at the video, as I'm sure you have, they disarmed Alex, they removed the gun, and then shortly thereafter, there was a gunshot, and then somebody unloaded their clip.
Yep. There was 10 shots fired. When you zoom out and look at the situation, do I agree he was a piece of shit? Yes. I will never be a person to say that I'm happy to see somebody lose their life. I am not. I still believe in humanity. I still have a level of compassion. Do I understand the situation? Yes. Do I agree that he put himself in that situation and it's unfortunate? Yes. Because at the end of the day, to be honest with you, having family and friends and law enforcement and military, there's not been a single one of them who have said, I want to kill somebody today. It's my job. I'm prepared for it, but that I want to do it.
I must be fucked up then, because I think there's just some people that need to leave the party.
Well, understandably so. And I understand that. Am I going to say that I want them to lose their life? No. Would I rather see them locked up for the rest of their life for wrongdoing or being a shitty-ass person? Yes.
See, but I disagree with that because my father used to work in the mental hospital back in Canada, and there was a gentleman that was under 24-hour watch. Why are the taxpayers paying for that?
Right.
It's such a waste of time and effort. Do you believe people can be rehabilitated?
Yes and no.
Define.
Well, it depends on what type of situation. There's a guy currently here in Florida. I don't know if he's been relocated or anything. Wade Wilson, who, have you heard of him?
Yeah.
Tattooed face guy?
My fiance just told me about him. It's funny because I'm a comic book nerd, right? So Wade Wilson is fucking Deadpool.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no shit, Deadpool.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Somebody like that, can he be rehabilitated? No.
But look at all the women going after that dude.
Because he's attractive. And then they find attraction to him. There is something, I don't know, there's something masculine and bad boy, obviously bad boyish about him. And then the tattoos, and he's this tall, masculine man. He's a sick fuck.
Yeah, man.
He savagely murdered 2 people. I mean, the fact that he explicitly stated he ran over somebody multiple times until they looked like spaghetti, that's disgusting. Somebody like that, there is no coming back from that. That guy has demons. Someone like that, could I understand death penalty? Let's go ahead and get him out of our prison system so we're not wasting tax dollars. Yes, I understand it.
I'm harsh. I don't know if it's a lack of compassion. I think if you if you hurt another human being, if you
Mhm.
kill another human being, I think you've given up your ticket to the party. I think you need to go.
I'm an eye for an eye type person.
Me too.
Very much in that capacity. Now, do I think people who have drug addictions, can those people be rehabilitated? Yeah. I think that
Within reason.
within reason, there is a level of which they can live a better quality of life. And I think that there is a level of redemption for folks like that.
If they are willing to pay the price for redemption. And I think that statement extends to anything.
That's the key.
Yes. I think we as humans are capable of achieving anything we want, providing we are willing to put in the time and pay the price that it takes to get that particular thing.
There's a
Losing weight,
level of
making money,
sacrifice.
for sure.
Yeah.
And the problem is, and I find with society, is we are celebrating weakness. We are celebrating fucking victims. We are celebrating that guy like Wade Wilson.
Yep.
He got a fucking TV show out of it, dude. Yep. We are making, and that also speaks to how fucked up we are, that there's all these, stories on Netflix about all these mass murderers and psychopaths. And I'm like, what the fuck?
I have always been appreciative of a good documentary, but not ones that come out a year or two later. I mean, do I like understanding what got a person to that point, trying to have a better understanding of how they become this type of individual? Was it due to traumas when they were younger, or what led up to that causes a person to do these types of things?
But do you not think we've made that excuse now so knee-jerk? I'm fucked up because of my youth. I'm fucked up because of my parents.
Yep.
It's become so cliche. And I've, in my time, have dealt with people that have had bad upbringings and they've aspired and they've achieved great things in their life. So it comes down not so much to the trauma you endured, but to the person that you are. Do you want to let your past define you, or do you want to define yourself?
You want to define yourself. Well, you should want to define yourself.
You should, absolutely.
You don't want to be victim of your past. Too many people, and it's because I believe they're weak individuals, they want to be a victim. They want people to have compassion for them, to help them through whatever it is that they're looking to achieve. As long as you have that victim mentality, you are never going to push yourself to your maximum capabilities.
I agree 100%.
So if you focus on a victim mentality, I can't do this because why? You're not trying hard enough.
Right.
You're not willing to sacrifice what needs to be sacrificed. And this kind of takes me back to your original question of what got me here. I sacrifice a lot doing social media, also being a full-time mom of 5 kids, also being a full-time employee. And there is a level of balance. Last weekend,
I don't know how you make that balance, dude. 5 kids. I have 5 dogs.
I have 4 dogs and a cat that just had kittens. So I've got 4 kittens as well.
You have no life.
I have but we do have a life. It revolves around, and this is the sacrifices that we made as a family. All my kids play sports. All
Nice.
my kids hunt. They fish. We have lives of our own. I love going to the gym.
Nice.
And there is...
We'll set you up with some good supplements.
That'd be great. But there is a level of sacrifice. So when I go to the gym, when do you think I'm going to the gym?
Like this motherfucker, probably 5 in the morning.
Anywhere between 2 and 5 in the morning, because I also don't sleep very well.
No?
No.
That's not good, though.
So and I function off of very little sleep. That's a sacrifice I make. Not a healthy sacrifice,
No,
but
it's not.
nonetheless a sacrifice I make. And so, conversations with my husband, hey, if you give me 15 minutes to knock out this video, rather than me trying to record it sitting in the living room or interacting with the family, because now I'm going to stop 30 times and it's taking me 2 hours if I could just get this out really quick. Also understanding that I'm doing social media first and foremost to get the message out, but then also there's revenue attached to this. Let's just be honest. I'm a part of the Creator Rewards program, not on all platforms.
So you're lucky. Being an American, you get that. Canada, we don't.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We're very limited in what we can make in Canada.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so TikTok Creator Rewards program doesn't pay phenomenal. They've had a lot of changes. Facebook, not monetized on Instagram. That's actually my largest platform right now, and just reached monetization on X. So this has been residual income. Otherwise, then there's another sacrifice of, well, you understand the cost of living right now. I'm a family of 7. So
And animals.
So, I don't have time for a second job. He doesn't have time for a second job. And then if we're still going to have a life and a family, and be involved with our kids,
Mhm.
we're making certain sacrifices. And fortunately, this has worked out for me. So, at the end of the day, if you are not willing to sacrifice certain things to achieve your goals, and you are just going to say, you know what, I've got all this going on, but unfortunately, I can't afford to take family vacations, or I can't afford to do this. Well, it's because you don't want it bad enough.
I agree. I think it's too easy for us to fall back on excuses
Mm-hmm.
for why we can't achieve the things, because it's easy to say, well, I couldn't do this because of you,
Yep.
or because of my boss,
Mm-hmm.
or because of whatever, as opposed to saying, well, this is up to me to
Yep.
achieve,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if I want it, I can do it.
Yep.
That's always been my belief. I always have felt that we are capable of achieving whatever we want. It's just that we don't want to pay the price to do it.
That's so true. And there's a certain life and a quality of living that both me and my husband want for ourselves, but also for our children.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what we have to do in order to achieve it. I mean, we're not millionaires, we're not billionaires. So,
Would you like to be a millionaire?
to be honest with you, I don't think I do.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
I think that comes with a different layer of struggles. I feel
It's
like,
awesome, dude.
I mean, I could imagine that it probably is. It probably makes life a lot easier in a lot of ways, monetarily, obviously.
Sure.
But I think it also comes with other challenges, and people always reaching out to you for one thing or another.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's,
Mhm.
can you make an introduction for this? Can you sponsor this?
Sure.
I do see that a lot, because one of my best friends in the whole wide world, I love her to death. She comes from a very wealthy family. And to be honest with you, I think that is why her and I have always been such good friends, because I've never paid any attention to that. Like, you'll have people, you become successful, and then all of a sudden, whether it's friends, whether it's family, which tends to be the worst, your success now becomes their success.
Oh,
No,
dude,
you are not
you are
entitled.
so right.
You are not entitled to my success. I got here
Yep.
for a reason.
Yep.
If I want to help you, then it's going to be my decision,
Mm-hmm.
not because you're making me feel guilty.
Yep.
And I think that is something that comes along with people doing well in life.
Yes, it is rather disappointing when you find out that you are now being viewed as a bank account.
Mhm.
It is rather disappointing when it's expected of you.
Yep.
Yes.
But
Yes. But having money, like there's that saying, money doesn't buy happiness.
Mhm.
Yes, it does.
Y-
Because it gives you freedom,
Mhm.
right? When you achieve a level of fuck you money,
yeah,
then you no longer have any concerns about the worries that typical people would have are gone.
I have typical people worries right now. I have to check my bank account when we go to the grocery
Right.
store. I have to budget. So yes, would that be nice? Absolutely. I think that would be life-changing for my family. But at the end of the day, do I want my face on billboards or that
But
level?
you are, though. You have reached a millionaire status,
Mhm.
perhaps not financially,
Mhm.
but socially.
Mhm.
And to me, that level of exposure opens up a whole new realm of issues, even greater than having money.
Yeah, you're right.
And as we spoke prior again, and then we spoke about another individual that we know, Chatty Annie,
Mhm.
and how I mentioned she gets vile, threats and emails, and then you said that you get the same. And as I said, that is fucking insane to me,
Mhm.
right? Why do I get to attack you, and even worse, your family, because you have said something that offends me? What kind of sensitive little bitch am I that I feel I need to attack you on a level that's physical, some of the vile shit they say, and then extend that to your family?
It's because people who do that lack mental and emotional control, and they do not know how to deal with those feelings. There's so much I see online that I just scroll past. I don't agree with it. I don't care. I don't engage. On X, will I talk shit to politicians and stuff like that? Yeah, absolutely. Because it's like, some of these people do need to be humbled in a certain way. But people have lost the ability to, ignore it. It doesn't, they let things impact them.
Yeah, because I think they don't have any. But here I am. I'm the guy somebody say something about Star Wars. I'm like, fuck you. That's fucking Star Wars is the greatest thing. So I shouldn't really be talking. But I I think when your identity has been reduced to just commenting on other people's shit, making, stupid little comments or, you're a clown. Dude, tell me why you think I'm a clown. Tell me what you think I said that was wrong. Maybe you'll change my mind. Maybe you won't. We can agree to disagree. That's cool. But when you come in and roll up in my feed saying you're a clown, you're an asshole, you look like Dave Bautista.
Wow.
Well,
you do.
He looks
now
like
that you
me.
say that, okay. He
Yeah.
does. Now that you say that.
Yes, I know.
I can't unsee it. Just yesterday, I had somebody in my comments, what about the Epstein files? I'm like, what about the Epstein files? We've been talking about the Epstein files for how long now? They're getting released. This is what I like to tell people. Politics is my content. It's not my personality. I have a life outside of this, and you have to have a life outside of this because it can get very negative. Because like you said, people thrive on the drama. They want the chaos. They want the entertainment. It's the negative entertainment. It's not the positive stuff. And so, we have to, for our mental health, take a step back from it sometimes. But I've posted videos about the Epstein files before. I have been one of those people that have said, we need to release them. But
I agree.
People they want them released because they're looking for Donald Trump's name.
100%.
They don't care about Bill Gates' name being in there or anybody else.
So you heard about Bill Gates this morning, right?
Heard about Bill Gates.
So for those who perhaps don't know yet, Bill Gates was talking to Epstein about giving his wife some kind of ST.
And he was requesting antibiotics.
That's right.
He did not pass on an STD to his now ex-wife.
Right. Because he hooked up with some Russian hooker provided by Epstein.
Yep.
Yeah. That just happened this morning. There was the fact that there was something really crazy with Prince Andrew. That was fucked up.
Yep.
Then I saw something about, I forget his first name, Branson. There was something with, I didn't say anything about Bill Clinton. He was in there a lot.
And him and Hillary are just completely, they're not talking, period.
No, I know.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's insane.
And nobody wants to talk about that, though.
But I do agree with you that the whole hunt for the Epstein files was to find something on Trump that they can use. So what is your take on the Epstein files? What do you think is going to happen? Do you think there's going to be charges? Do you think anyone's going to pay the price?
I don't.
I agree.
Unfortunately, it's been years and years and years of this. And for me, if anything's going to happen, it truly needs to be about justice for the victims. And even then, though, now I feel like it's all performative because just a couple months ago, you had a group of women getting in front of the television saying, we're going to make our own list. Okay, where is it?
Right.
Do you want justice for yourself? And I have read previously that a lot of these women received settlements,
Yes.
signed NDAs.
Yes.
So there's only so much that, in my opinion, I feel like there is only so much at this point that can now be done. I do think that it goes much deeper than what a lot of people are really going to be able to digest.
Ooh, talk to me.
I mean, we're talking about this massive scandal, this sex ring that was obviously a thriving business for supreme elites, people that have sick money that we're never going to see in our lifetime. Right?
No, don't say that.
At least I don't think that I would. You know what I mean?
Don't say that about yourself. Never limit yourself. Don't say that. You say that you have optimal options in front of you that you can make. If you tell me that you don't want to make that kind of money, then I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
But if you say that I want that money, but you're never going to get it, I don't want to hear that shit.
Yeah, no, I get it. But I don't think that we're ever going to get down to truly those supreme beings who were involved in this, because these are people who control the world.
100%. They have way too much money. They have way too many avenues to control the media, the narrative, the outcomes, the justice. I agree 100%.
And unfortunately, I know that there are people who say, no, I have morals. Everybody has a price.
Sadly, yes.
And I've always been one of those people who personally said, there is no price tag you can put on something. I keep my integrity. At some point, everybody has a price. There's going to be something, that carrot's going to get dangled in front of you, and you're going to justify it and rationalize it somehow.
Sure.
And there's just so much involved with this that do I ever think that there's going to be justice? No. And I equate that to virtually anything and everything we're currently seeing with the massive amounts of fraud, the Russian collusion hoax, the dossier, like all of these things, nothing's happening. And I feel like the Epstein files falls in line with that.
I agree. The same way as we touched on the whole Charlie Kirk scenario.
Yeah.
I do not feel that we are ever going to know the truth. And here's the thing. We discern from the information that we are made available to.
Mm-hmm.
But that is not by happenstance. We are given that because it's allowed to be freely given.
Yep.
Unless you are of the ilk where you get information that somehow is not known to the public.
Right.
You know, so both you and I get people emailing us or messaging us saying, hey, did you know about this? Or I work in this, here's something that you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's cool. But then perhaps that's being fed to us on purpose too.
Right.
So I don't even know if the information that we're getting is the full and final. I don't think, but I do go on to say that I don't think we will ever know the truth.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many holes in the narrative that my asshole twitches about it. And I think it's unfortunate because I do think in all things we should seek truth.
Right.
But what is your thoughts on it?
Well, I have actually sat back and looked at things from a couple of different angles. You know, the naive side of me wants to say, you know what, maybe Robinson did do this. Maybe, you know, it's just that simple. And we don't want to believe that this kid, this no-name kid from nowhere jumped up on a building and shot Charlie.
Okay, so as you said, you have family who worked as a Marine. Your father was a Marine. Yep. Your husband is law enforcement or ex-law enforcement. They have certainly had to have had their opinion on the matter, correct?
Yep.
And what is their opinion?
With all the people who could potentially be involved with this, right? If this is going to be the patsy, why on God's green earth would they choose a 30-06 knowing the impact that it could and should have to a human being and run with that narrative when everybody's going to say anything is possible, but what's plausible?
Occam's razor, right? The simple truth is quite often the answer. Mm-hmm. There's too many holes in that narrative. Yep. The story about him having his boyfriend being a furry and we got involved in his sexual preferences. I don't know why that was important. And then they started talking about the holes just kept coming. Yeah. And, you know, Ant and I have talked about it, and I've talked about it with military personnel and police. For him, that kid to get up there, he's never shot at a person before. So there would be the massive anxiety about getting caught and shooting at another human being. So then the argument would be, well, maybe he was psychotic and he didn't have any kind of remorse about shooting at people. Fair enough. Mm-hmm. You had to assemble that gun, zero the sights, take the shot, see what had happened from the shot, disassemble the rifle. I've never seen any evidence to suggest that he put that in his pants. I've never seen any plausible reason how he could have got that rifle stuck in the backpack that they said he was carrying. And he had to get out of Dodge. Mm-hmm. There's too many fucking ways that could not have worked.
Yeah, I agree with you. There are a lot of holes in the story, and I think it's really sad because Charlie Kirk, once in a lifetime individual, and as somebody who enjoys watching debate, I've got to tell you that I have not seen a single debate, and even with some of the best debaters in the world, that even come remotely close to meeting a Charlie Kirk standard.
And what I find offensive is people would attack, you know, what college did you graduate from? Mm-hmm. He never graduated college. He graduated high school. So people would attack his apparent lack of intelligence or schooling. Like that fucking means anything.
It doesn't mean anything. There are people who have degrees that
are saying, do you want fries with that?
That just got that degree. They had just passed. It didn't mean everybody with a degree doesn't mean that they're a straight A student.
No.
I mean, you know, I'll never forget this. I was in a job interview and I was in school for my bachelor's degree. And I do have 2 degrees in school for my bachelor's degree. And I was asking for more money. And the doctor said to me, to be honest with you, I wouldn't pay you any more money that with you having a degree than the woman who's been working in my office for the last 25 years, who has a butt ton of experience that you don't have. Mm-hmm. That right there is what did it for me. I don't have my master's degree. I didn't pursue it. What's the point? And you know what? I make more money now And I could make the same amount of money if I didn't. I don't use my degrees.
Mm-hmm.
I'm focusing on my degrees are in business. So I am
I have an art degree, so
I mean, so there's so many people who check that box off because that's what society has told us we're supposed to do. My sister has 2 degrees.
Mm.
She is a poker dealer and she makes more money. She has 2 degrees in criminal justice and criminology.
Nice.
She makes more money working at a casino, dealing poker, than she could ever make as a...
Yeah, I think we equate, higher learning as a means of, I mean, it does speak to a discipline to a certain degree,
Right.
but it doesn't necessarily mean you could be book smart and still be dumb as fuck.
We see that every day.
Mm-hmm.
And so Charlie Kirk was one of those people, autodidact. He could read something and understand it without anybody having to explain it to him. And again, those people are a dime a dozen. But he was also very vocal. He would read 100 books a year. People don't commit to doing those types of things. Knowledge is power. I've always said that.
100%.
And if you are not continuously educating yourself, you're going to fall behind. There's always an opportunity to learn something. Charlie Kirk never felt like he was too good to learn something new.
Mm-hmm.
And if he didn't know, he would say, no, I don't, tell me.
Mm-hmm. I said that to him yesterday.
Not too many people welcome that, whether it's a fear of being wrong or a fear of not knowing, and they can't form an opinion around it.
I said something akin to that recently, in that people are afraid to do new things because there is that inevitable period of what I call the suck, right? So I've said many times, I'm learning Spanish, I'm learning chess, higher levels of chess, and there's always going to be, or just anything you do, anything you take on new, there's going to be that period of time when you're just shit at it. And that is when most people will quit.
But that's when you need to be a sponge.
Right. Or that's when you need to pull up your big boy pants and just carry through. Because at the end of it, there's going to be little moments, and, you studied martial arts, right? In the beginning, when you were doing it, you were shit at it. You would perform, you took karate, you said, right? So you'd be performing katas. You'd fuck up the kata, right? Depending on what style of karate, there was weapon training that you did. You would fuck up doing something with the weapon. But there's going to be individual moments in your progress where something clicks. You get that a little bit more. Or when you're fighting, when I was fighting one of my boxing coaches, I had to approach it from the fact that I'm not going to win, but perhaps instead of getting hit 100 times this round, I'm going to get a hit 90 times. And it's those little moments of success that you use to inspire you, to motivate you to keep going. And too many people don't have that steel.
No, they don't.
And it's unfortunate because we all are capable of doing it. It's just, it's okay. Kayla, don't worry about it. It's okay. Do something else. Go fucking knit. Learn how to cook.
I always tell people, if I don't know and I'm willing to learn, I have to be willing to learn, right? As long as I'm willing to learn, if you're willing to teach me, I'm going to be a sponge. And I'm okay with not knowing right now, but I'm committed now. So I'm going to know, whether it takes me a week, whether it takes me a month, whether it takes me a year. And not too many people are willing to make that commitment.
Why do you think that is?
In today's world, people just want an easy fix for everything, an easy solution, the easy money, the fast money, not long-term commitment for sustainability. And that's actually, I'm the complete opposite of that. I want long-term commitments. I don't, you see that a lot with people who job hop, who even in relationships, they go from one relationship to the next. So I think it's a lack of commitment, a lack of discipline.
100. That's what I think it is.
And that's really what it dials down to.
I think discipline, we always have this argument, what is more important, motivation or discipline? What's your answer to that? Would you rather be motivated or would you rather be disciplined?
I'd rather be disciplined to be consistent.
100%.
So, I mean, I can find motivation. I might not be motivated today. I'm going to still get my ass up and go do it.
100%.
The only challenge with that is sometimes I'm probably only going to give 70%.
Doesn't matter though.
I should be, but I'm showing up.
Right.
So
you're not always going to be 100%.
Yep.
But that 70% is a lot fucking better than your 0% if you didn't show up.
Right. I personally, huge Charlie Kirk fan. I loved what he was doing. I loved that he was always able to defend his position from a biblical standpoint, but then also rationalize it from a non-biblical standpoint.
Yes.
And And again, that's just not something we see from another person who I love, Benny Johnson. He is really, really well articulate. I've loved watching him in some debates. Some people, maybe they're a little close to it, but again, I believe Charlie Kirk was a once in a lifetime
I agree.
individual. And, I hope that his legacy will continue on, that the right people step up and in place to push forward his mission and his vision. That civil discourse, which unfortunately I see dying, because kind of back to your point, people just want to talk shit to you in comments. They're not interested in actually engaging in a conversation, seeking to understand your position.
Right. You want to hear your comments coming out of my mouth.
Right. They want you to validate their feelings. And when you challenge that, or you leave somebody in a position to question how they feel about something, they panic. And the only way they know how to deal with that is by lashing out, by calling you names, by being belligerent, by being physical in some cases, because they lack the self-control
or the intelligence
or
debate
the intelligence
intellectually.
to intellectually debate or to articulate why they feel the way they feel and justify that with facts. And I always like to say facts over feelings. People hate that. Now, your feelings can have an influence on how you interpret those facts.
Yes.
So we see things differently, and Minneapolis is a really good example, unfortunately. How many people saw the same video of Renee Good, and you have a population of people saying that she tried to run him over, and then the other population saying, no, she turned her wheel, she was trying to get away.
I have watched that video so many fucking times, and there is no way that anybody can convince me that she did not have the full intent to fuck that guy up with her car.
Absolutely.
Okay? She was a piece of shit. I'm glad the dog is okay. That was my biggest concern. She tried to, she was in such a hurry to get away that her wife almost got snagged in the door.
And go, baby, go.
That's right.
Go, baby, go.
Why have we not seen the phone footage from the lumberjack? Right? Got asked the question there.
Absolutely, yep.
That whole thing just annoyed the shit out of me.
Yeah.
And I had all these fucking peasants coming on, rolling into my feed. You're an asshole. You're celebrating her murder. She was a fucking piece of shit. She tried to run over another individual, an ICE agent. That is clear as day. If you want to debate what is a clearer, sad event, the Renee Good one or the Alex Pretti, and now we're going to squirrel back to the Alex Pretti thing. The only thing I am concerned about is that there was a rumor going around that Alex Pretti reached for another weapon, right? And if he did that, blast the
Justified,
motherfucker.
yeah.
100%. But that, for some reason, that narrative is not being researched, or we're not going any further down that road, which leads you to believe either it's being squashed or it really didn't happen. So if that didn't happen, the ICE agent fucked up, and that was a bad move. That was unjustified killing.
Yeah. I've heard that as well. I've watched the videos, the slow-mo videos and stuff. From my perspective, just zooming out, an officer had removed his weapon. Now, clearly there was so much going on that there was a lack of communication to say, he's been disarmed, I have the weapon. Whether somebody yelled, he's got a gun, and then, because when it comes down to it, it's either his life or my life.
Right.
And what are you going to choose? 100%. Your life.
Yep.
So, there were so many people on top of him at that point, and kind of back to what you were saying, did he really need to have 5, however many people were on top of him, taking him down? Probably not.
No, that
definitely
was just
not.
bad.
Not even probably. But there was so much going on that it was just mass chaos and distraction, which then gets you away from, your SOPs, what's supposed to happen in that type of situation. All of that was out the door.
What annoys me is that, and this is again akin to, say you're watching a fight and you have these armchair quarterbacks saying, well, if he tried to take me down, I would sprawl and then I would take his back, and then fuck off, okay?
Yeah.
In the moment, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
So unless you're in there, and you have to say that these ICE agents have been berated and abused for ages. And if anyone ever asks me, am I pro-ICE? 100%.
Yep.
can you explain to me why you're okay with illegal immigrants? And I see you doing posts on some of these chicks that are are talking about, you know, they're not illegal. That's such a derogatory word. Shut the fuck up. Okay? They're illegal. By that very fucking definition, they're breaking the law. They got to go.
There was this white liberal chick that I just did a video about yesterday. Large
The
platform.
one with the hairband?
The headband on, yeah.
Yes.
I think she had a platform. She's got over 1.2 million followers or something
No
like that.
shit.
And you'll notice too, and just in the last 2 weeks, these large platform creators that never talk about politics are sprinkling this Minnesota stuff in. So that same campaign ad has gone out to all of them. And in some capacity, Alicia McCarville as well. She's Canadian. I used to love watching her. Her and her husband just seem to have a phenomenal story. 6.2 million followers, but
Wow.
she slips in a fuck ice into one of her captions. And then she emails somebody and says, "Oh, great, I was unfollowed by a fascist Nazi bigot." Now, not only do I know where you stand politically, but I also see what kind of person you are. But, you know, taking it back to, look, I love my country first. Can I have compassion for people who want to come into America to be an American, to contribute to our communities the right way? Absolutely.
Like how I'm doing it.
And that's phenomenal. I actually had a doctor reach out to me, somebody who I look up to. I mean, he's a phenomenal person. He's from Jordan. He came here on a green card, but he did things the right way. He went to college. He became a doctor. Now he's one of the best rated hematology oncology physicians in the state of Florida.
Nice.
For one of the largest practices in the state. You did the right thing, man.
Right.
So it is my expectation that you, being a Muslim man, you know, speak out to the community. This is what I did. This is what you need to do to become an American. But if the goal is not to become an American, why are you coming here? I don't want your trash country turning into my country.
Right.
And that's what people are doing. And that's what we're seeing in these sanctuary cities. They're all shit. Not a one of them are beautiful cities to go to. I have never heard somebody say, I want to go to Minneapolis. What's in Minneapolis?
Fuck if I know. I fucking agree.
New York City used to be one of the most beautiful cities.
Mandami has fucked New York up.
And all free everything, right?
Until last week, we're $12 billion in deficit. I got to start fucking you boys.
Yep.
Yeah. Fuck you.
Tax the rich.
Yes. Oh, I hate that statement, right? Because you have all the people, all the peasants who want free money. They're like, yeah, tax the rich. The rich pay enough. Okay, I pay 54% tax on my fucking money. Well, I pay enough.
And the rich want to keep their money. They don't want to continue to give it to the government. So then what are they going to do? That's why you find, you know, a lot of these people sending their monies offshore and trying to avoid paying taxes or a lump sum of taxes because they're being taxed to hell in a handbasket. So, you know, people are saying, no, you know, people aren't leaving California. People aren't going to leave New York City. Yes, they will.
Why do you think I'm leaving Canada, dude? Right? The government in Canada does not make it a viable environment for businesses to thrive.
Right.
So, okay, that being my option, bye-bye. The weather's shit. I'm going to go to Florida. Yep. Carrying a gun.
Yep.
Yes.
And you know, Mandami, again, he campaigned on free health care, free transportation, free child care.
Yep.
Oh, but then, you know, how long has he been in office? And
2 months? 3 months?
I think a month.
A month. Yeah, he was sworn in a month ago.
Christmas Day or Christmas Eve or
Yep.
And here we are where he's giving this speech that the city is in such a deficit that it's worse than the Great Recession. Well, bro, where are you going to get all this money now for all your free shit that you promised everybody?
That's right.
Oh, we're going to tax the wealthy.
Right.
Okay, now the wealthy's leaving.
Right. And then the middle class gets decimated. It becomes two factions now. It becomes the poor and the ultra rich. The ultra rich have options, so they're going to fuck off. So all you're going to have is just a demographic of poor people, which the government will find a way to control in order to stay in power.
Yep.
It's sad. And that's what they're doing in Canada too.
Yep.
You know, so before we get into the Don Lemon story, let's talk about Trump. What's your feelings on Trump?
So I voted for Trump 3 times.
I love the man.
I think he's doing a phenomenal job. He is one of the very few presidents in our country that has followed through with what he's campaigned on. Now, of course, all presidents have their limitations. You know, you've got Congress that need to vote and pass things. Our GOP, I have less and less confidence in. If SAVE Act doesn't pass, that's going to be a whole other situation. But
so what would you say to people who have said that Trump has not come through on his promises? A, getting rid of illegals, and B, as always, we fall back on the Epstein files.
So our border is more secure now than it's ever been.
Agreed.
You know, we have virtually zero activity going on at our border right now. So he's followed through on that. He is trying to deport illegal aliens, criminals, back to their country. You know, and I love how people are using very intentional language. They're kidnapping, concentration camps. You know, they're trying to bring back some of the worst times in history and compare that to today. It's not even remotely close. And all they're doing is minimizing those points in time in history with this nonsense.
That's a different perspective, yeah.
Zero riots. And I think I shared that to my page as well.
Yes.
So this has to do with the fact that it's Donald Trump.
100%.
Period. There is nothing else to it. There is such an anti-Trump campaign.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think people hate Trump?
Because he's not a politician. So I know people, you know, say he came from a wealthy family. Well, not too many people can take money and turn it into more money.
And
so,
let's not negate the fact that he was on the verge of bankruptcy several times.
He was.
Right.
He was. And he's been able to pull himself out of those and continue to grow. And not only himself, but then his children as well, which is, again, not often something that you see. Usually, you know, kids kind of turn to shits and they just expect now because mommy and daddy have money and, well, you're supposed to take care of me for the rest of my life.
Right.
Kind of thing. He was not one of those. And with him being, you know, the reality TV star and The Apprentice, which was a great show, by the way, I think that alone could be contributing to why people have such a hate for the guy, which is really weird to me, too, because, you know, saying that out loud now, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Governor of California.
Governor of California. And, you know, he was not a U.S. citizen.
And not the most articulate motherfucker.
No, but
he married one. He married one.
Yeah.
He
yes.
married the daughter of a politician.
And then banged the nanny.
I wish there was a single thing to really pinpoint what it is about Donald Trump. Zero fucks to give. He is going to say what he wants when he wants. And it's actually kind of funny because during his first presidency, there were a few times where I call them the miscongeniality moments where it's like, man, he was doing so good. And then that mouth, because it's like, okay, just shut up. Just shut up.
Yeah. Yeah. He got in his own way in the beginning. I think he learned from that.
Yeah.
Or his handlers advised him not, you know, to conduct himself in a certain way. That's what I like about him.
Yeah.
I like the fact that he doesn't give a fuck what you think.
Yep.
He has a job to do. Do I like the fact that he's tariffing the fuck out of Canada? No, because it's affecting me on a business level.
Right.
But I get it.
Yeah.
He cares for Canada. He gives zero fucks he cares for the USA.
Yeah.
He does not care for Canada. And if we had a prime minister that actually conducted himself in the same manner, Canada would be in a lot better state than it is now.
Right. Well, but how do you feel about Canada being so reliant on the United States and Canada putting itself in that position?
You dumb fuck, right? Perhaps you shouldn't have depended on your older brother to protect you in a fight.
Well,
you know, we are responsible for the position that we're in.
Absolutely. And I felt the same way when Ford was threatening to shut off electricity to the United States.
Yeah.
I took a step back and said, well, wait a minute. Why did the United States put themselves in a position where you've allowed another country to dangle that over our head? Don't we want to be self-sufficient? Do
Agreed.
we want to have to rely on other countries for whatever it is, whether it's electricity, whether it's steel, whether it's oil?
Agreed.
No. So what do we need to do to be wholesome here? Now,
Agreed.
Do I understand trade? Absolutely. There has to be a level.
I agree in fair trade. And what I mean by that, and that extends to any relationship. So, you know, you're in a relationship with somebody, they treat you like shit. How long is that relationship going to last? Not long, or someone's going to fuck somebody else over.
Right.
Same way in business. If you have a relationship where it's one-sided, Either someone's going to fuck you over or the relationship is going to end.
Mhm.
I believe in fair relationships where
Mhm.
you benefit, I benefit, we're both happy. I trust you not to fuck me over.
Right.
You trust me not to fuck you over. That is a good relationship. Long-term, self-sustaining.
Look at the pharmaceutical industry. Why do we in the United States pay so much more for prescription drugs
Yes.
than any other country?
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't that fair trade?
I agree. I
So,
agree.
you know, yes, the tariffs have been a very, very touchy subject, but he campaigned on it. He let everybody know that we are going to be a thriving nation again through tariffs.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened in the first 6 months he was in office and tariffs took effect?
Well, I heard that he made a shit ton of money off the tariffs, that he actually went to the point in saying, I don't know if this will actually come to fruition, that he's going to lower income tax or abolish it entirely.
That would be nice. I don't know if that'll ever get passed.
I don't
but,
think so.
To be honest with you, income tax in general, I mean, what we're seeing with fraud right now, there is no reason for us to be taxed the way we're being taxed.
Dude,
There is
count
so
yourself
much
lucky
money.
how you guys are getting taxed,
Yeah.
okay? Canada is just getting destroyed with all the taxes we pay.
Mm-hmm.
The income tax, the sales tax, property tax, educational tax, water tax. There's all these taxes we pay. We buy something with money we've been taxed on, and we're paying tax on that item that we're buying. It's insane.
Well,
it's
you're
not
taxed 5 or 6 different times on
Yes.
money that you've already been taxed
Yeah.
on.
What's the sales tax here for you guys?
7.5%.
Yeah, ours is what, 13?
13.
13% on shit we buy.
Yeah.
Okay.
After we already paid the income tax.
Yes. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
they do the same thing here.
But you're at 54%. So
That's right.
Yeah.
13%.
I know. It's insane to
Yeah.
me that every dollar I make, I only take home 46 cents of it.
And then think about all the fraud.
Mm.
They've got all of this tax money that they're using, both state and federal. We're losing all this money. They keep on showing us all this massive transparency, billions and billions of dollars in fraud. Well, that's my money. So why do you keep on taking it? Like if you've got all this money to spend on fraud, but then you're telling me you can't fix roadways, we can't improve schools, we can't do this, we can't do that. What are you taking my money for?
I agree.
It's not for these career politicians to become wealthy. Can you name one U.S. politician that is not wealthy?
No, true enough.
How many within the first 5 years of them getting into a position of power that they became millionaires? All of a sudden, they're master investors?
Yep. Same. So, Justin Trudeau, you've heard of him, right?
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
So that fucker was making $400,000 a year.
Mhm.
His net worth, I believe, is $85 million.
Yep.
That math doesn't math for me.
Yep. Well, and then you have two people specifically, because it's been a highlight, AOC and Ilhan Omar. In the negatives. In the negatives. But now, financially thriving?
I do not understand the allure of AOC. She is so abrasive. Her fucking mule mouth teeth just all the time. And she's so vapid. She talks and then she'll get caught saying something stupid and she'll backpedal on it.
Mhm.
She's so annoying. I don't know how that bitch ever got that fucking position in the first place.
Have you ever noticed she hasn't done a single debate? And anybody who has invited her to debate, she's turned it down.
Mm.
There's a reason for that. She can't debate.
Yeah, she's dumb as fuck.
She has her talking points, and that's the script
Yep.
that she sticks to.
Yep.
That's the same thing that you would see with the Jasmine Crockett. That's the same thing that, you would see with,
Joy Reid?
no, not, well, don't get me started with
Oh,
any of those women on The View.
Oh, let's go there.
Oh, my Lord. I was really, really, really disappointed in Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't know what in the hell happened to that woman. To be honest with you, I've never been a huge Marjorie Taylor Greene fan myself. I've always felt like she was very abrasive, that she didn't really have much tact to her. And then I don't know, maybe she had a coming to Jesus or what, but the fact that she has completely done a 180 on how she approaches things, almost, she's trying to set herself up for something. That's very blatant and obvious. But she had an opportunity to go on The View and correct narratives that these women have been speaking. Like, it's just hate, nasty, vile nonsense that comes from them. And she had an opportunity to put them in their place and say, you know what, you come on this show and you say all these things, but you respond with feelings, not with facts.
Yes, I've heard from people that have tried to get on the show that you are sent a questionnaire
Yep.
prior to going on there that you have to state what your political preference is,
Mhm.
what's your position on certain topics. You're told when to clap, you're told
Yeah.
when to laugh, you're told when to boo. It's performance theater. I find Whoopi Goldberg,
She's repulsive.
she is that fucking bitch, Joy Behar.
Yeah.
Can't stand
Behar,
her either.
yeah.
Behar.
Sunny Holston for me. I
Oh,
mean, and
the
when all
worst.
that shit came out with her husband and the
Yes.
massive medical insurance fraud. Now, even though
Yeah.
it was dropped with prejudice.
And the fact that her grandfather or
Yeah.
great grandfather used to own slaves.
Yeah.
When that came out, she was mortified. She's so annoying. And that bitch got to lay off the Ozempic. Okay. She's going a little too hard on it. Same with Whoopi.
Yeah.
It's just, they're starting to look like
The show's disgusting.
it is.
And at this point, what is the point? All you're doing is feeding a very vile narrative to a specific group of people that clearly you want to appeal to, which is only contributing to the massive mental health issue
Agreed.
that we have in this country.
Agreed.
Clearly, they all have mental health issues. I guarantee you they are on some sort of antipsychotic, antidepressant for them to be so consumed.
They are venomous.
It's terrible. And so, Marjorie Taylor Greene had an opportunity.
I saw it.
And she didn't. She
Right.
tried taking like this moral high ground.
I don't ever believe in taking the moral high ground. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the moral high ground. I think motherfuckers need to be put
Yeah.
in their place at times.
Yeah. Well, I heard that Savannah Chrisley is supposed to be going on the show. So, maybe I see that she's really gotten involved politically, most certainly since, her parents had gotten arrested and went to prison. So I really hope that she stands her ground on the show if she's truly going onto the show. And, I said, hey, don't forget, these women criticized your parents and mocked them when they were going through their trial and then got arrested. So
I still think people have to walk the line when they go on that show because at the end of the day, they are guests, paid appearances.
Mhm.
They're never going to have anyone who really
speaks their mind.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate because I would love to have somebody go on there and just lay those chicks out.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen though.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into the topic of the day, the soup du jour. Let's talk about Don Lemon, that smug little prick.
Yeah. What do you want to talk about? I mean, where do we start with him?
Take me to the beginning. What's your thoughts?
He is a motor mouth. I am so sick of the race card from him. I am so sick of the sexuality card for him.
Mhm.
The fact that he has a white partner,
And yet he talks about how white people are broken
Yeah.
and there's something missing within us internally. I just find it very disingenuous and insulting, to be frank.
and how his partner can tolerate him saying those things. I mean, he's saying he hates his partner. He's hating everything that makes up his partner.
Mhm.
I don't understand that. And you know what? That's their relationship, their prerogative. But more so for me, the fact that he thought he was untouchable. He's not above the law. And he was flaunting it around as though the government wasn't going to be able to do anything, that he was merely in Minneapolis as a journalist. No, he was privy to what was going to happen. He was very much a part of what transpired at that church. That was completely unnecessary. That is not protesting. And I hope that these charges stick against him.
I hope that they do. I just don't believe that they will. He was released without bail, right? Which is fair. I mean, it's not like part of me thinks he's just looking forward going to jail myself, but I just think he's a smug little prick and he's a failed journalist. He's now gone down the road of these abrasive kind of.
He's a rage baiter. That's all he is now. It is not journalism. He is not studying anything. He's not really seeking truth. He is just trying to rage bait people using key buzzwords right now.
Well said.
And that's it. He offers nothing more. CNN booted his ass for a reason.
Right. And CNN's a garbage fucking news channel. To call it a news channel is insulting to news channels.
Absolutely. And, he's just trying to remain relevant right now. So he had to do something big. He had to do something extreme. And, well, this was it. More people want to see him behind bars than they want to see him sitting behind a camera. and listening to anything he has to say.
But yet so after he was released on bail, he had this, which he called in advance. He called this little press conference. A handful of people showed up. He reeks of desperation. He is so thirsty for attention. And
that's the game right now. Victimization. I am a victim. Give me sympathy. Show me compassion. That's what every single one of these liberals are doing in every fashion, whether it's Don Lemon, whether it's Renee Good, whether it's Alex Pretti, whether it's any one of these nurses.
Alex Pretty's not complaining about anything.
He's not anymore, but the fact that we have nurses who recently lost their jobs and GoFundMe's. You have that one healthcare worker in California with the Target situation. Every single, I feel like that's the gig right now. Sympathy, compassion on what's happening with our time right now. Start a GoFundMe so I can make some quick, easy money.
And it's just, so Nicole Good, I believe at one point was at over $1 million.
Over $1 million,
right.
Yeah.
But I've also heard that she's not getting that money. Well, the lumberjack's not getting it.
I'm not too sure. I haven't followed up on that.
And Alex Pretti, somebody started a GoFundMe account for him. He's not going to need the money.
He's not going to need it. They haven't talked about.
Is that too soon?
No. I mean, no, they haven't talked about much next of kin. He didn't have any children or anything like that. So what the hell does he need the money for? I mean, realistically.
It's people virtue signaling.
Yeah.
I sent money to Alex Pretti.
Miss Jeannie, she, I don't know what her campaign ended at, but fortunately they raised, I think, over $250,000 for her being verbally assaulted by somebody just trying to do her job. That to me, that was warranted. All these other stupid GoFundMes and initiatives that people are starting to try to raise money for people, it's a cop out. It's a cop out. And it almost, why would you jeopardize your job? And then, people, you've got these nurses who spend years and thousands of dollars on their education. They're throwing it away. They're losing their license, for goodness sakes. They're never going to be able to practice in the state that they're living in.
Rightfully so, though.
Rightfully so. Unfortunately, healthcare workers, we're screwed. Teachers, we're screwed.
See, it's interesting to hear someone from the States talk about like the dire situation that you're in. Because I fucking love the US.
I wanted to ask you about that. So you are leaving Canada. You were a born, bred, and raised Canadian.
Yes.
And what is it about the United States that you want to be an American? I'm probably a loaded question, right?
No, go ahead.
I mean, what is it about the United States that makes you want to come here and you want to call yourself an American?
100. I'm already in the, yes, everything's in the works. Yes, the reason why. Okay, I pay 54% tax. If I go to the hospital, I'm still waiting 12, 14, 16 hours in the hospital. The crime rates in Canada are fucking atrocious. I train with a lot of police officers. The crime data that is actually allowed for the public to hear is nowhere near actually how bad it is. Okay, we can't carry, we can't protect. In our house, our guns have to be with a trigger lock in a lockbox. The ammo has to be separate. And even if someone were to come in and I were to use that weapon, I would still be charged with murder. If someone were to come in my house and I fight them and I beat them, perhaps excessively, I would still be charged. Right? There's that.
Probably dropped, but would be charged.
Maybe,
Right.
but I'm still paying all the lawyer fees.
Yeah.
Publicly, I would still be ostracized. My company would probably suffer from that.
Yeah.
The education system is just riddled with DEI. It's riddled with the alphabet mafia approach to things. In school, teach me. Keep sexuality out of it. Keep religion out of it. I think people are rude. I do not think Canada can be saved. So what do I like about Florida? I have found in the several times that I've been here that people have a lot more honor. You guys are way more fucking patriotic. Canadians have no patriotism whatsoever. The fact that you came in here and you had a fucking gun on you was dope as shit, right? The fact that, like I said, I'm getting absolutely...
And I apologize. I just pulled it out as though,
I couldn't believe that.
Think about it.
I know.
Put a message up. Don't fuck with Canada.
Yeah, and beautiful looking gun. I'm like, you're carrying a gun? And you're like, yeah, here. We are not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Okay? The taxes, the weather, dude, right? You guys are walking around in winter coats and it was 71 yesterday and I blew my fucking mind because you saw me minus 25, practically nude.
Yeah.
So Cape Coral is clean as fuck, man. We're driving around and like, dude, there's no fucking garbage here.
Yeah.
Right. So for all those reasons, and I just love the weather, I love the people, I love the mentality of the US, and I have all these motherfuckers that roll into my comment feeding saying, why don't you move to the US? I am.
So what really drove you though to like American politics? Is it just because, everything that has transpired in Canada and the position that Canada has put you in as a business owner, as a resident, that, you want to be a part of all things American? You talk a lot about our politics, our day-to-day national news type stuff. So, I mean,
I like Trump. I like
Yeah.
the fact that he has zero fucks for everybody's opinion. I am very similar in that mindset,
Yeah.
right? If you and I agree, cool. If you and I don't agree, that's cool too. You start to flex on me, we're going to have a problem.
What happened to the days of people being able to have conversation, disagreeing, say, hey, this is where I stand. If you want to understand, I'm happy to elaborate.
Yeah.
You reciprocate. If not, that's it. That seems to be gone.
Yes, it's
one
gone.
extreme or the other.
It is.
I work with some of the most amazing people that are liberals. And I know that probably sounds crazy.
I have not yet. So my brother-in-law, he's a little simpy. He's so weak, right?
Yeah.
And he's a staunch liberal.
Mhm.
And so I made a comment in a group chat, and his immediate reaction was to insult Trump, calling him orange man, pedophile, and rapist and felon. So none of those are true. But for you to sort of A, insult me when I will fucking beat the shit out of you, B, go off topic just so you can get a jab in on something like that.
Yeah.
To me, you're just like, you're a little weak little man.
But that goes back to what we were talking about earlier. They do not know how to articulate their feelings, so they divert to insult.
Right.
That's their only play. And at that point, once you start with insults with me, you've already lost the argument. I'm not interested in having a conversation with you, because I also feel like at that point, there's not going to be any convincing you. So regardless of what facts or data I provide you, you're not listening to that.
I agree 100%, but you're a better person than me, right? Because if somebody insults me, I am not mature enough to not let that argument go until I let you know.
We can all go there. There are times.
But I go there. Like I open that door and walk in gladly.
I hit people with your mom all the time, and your mom's a hoe or whatever. And it's just because it's, again, we all have our level, right? And eventually it gets to be so redundant and ridiculous where you can't help but, here's my boiling point. Now I'm going to reciprocate what you're.
But you seem to have a more mature boiling point. Like I have probably an infantile boiling point.
Honestly, I don't want other people to impact my day. And that happens, but you're not going to make me have a shitty day. If you want to be an asshole, you know what? I can get up and I can walk out the door. That's it. And I'm going to leave, and I'm going to go have my, celebrate my daughter's birthday, and I'm going to forget all about this. Not too many people are capable of doing that. They're going to carry that weight with them for the rest of the day. Now their day is fucked. But I just, through
I think that was your first swear word.
It was.
I have a mouth like a sailor. My dad was a Navy man. So
nice.
But I can be more buttoned up. Ask my husband, my kids, I call my kids fucking retards all the time. my kids are not little bitches. I can tell you that right now.
Good, as they should be. Fuck. We're raising a generation of fucking pussies.
No, my kids will come at, hey mom, does this look good? No, you kind of look fucking retarded. So let's try again. But my kids also know that I'm their ride or die. I will go move mountains if I have to for them. So, at the end of the day, like people, do you talk to your kids that way? Yeah, you fucking don't.
Yeah.
You cannot gentle parent kids because they will walk all over you.
I agree. I agree.
They can be little terrorists, but, and I have 3 boys, two teenage boys and a preteen daughter. So,
That's 4 kids. Where's the 4th one?
No, I have a 5-year-old and then the 4-year-old.
Girl.
Yeah, I have a boy and a girl. So 3 boys, 2 girls.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
But my 3 oldest, 11, 15, and 16, my 16-year-old will be 17 in February. You've got to sink the hooks in them. Otherwise, like, this is the point at which you lose them. They're coming into themselves.
Yes.
They're deciding what their future is going to look like for them. My kid's asking about tattoos and piercings. And I'm like, no. Well, you've got them. Yeah, I do. But look at me. I'm covered head to toe. I have a professional role. I have to stay covered up. I'm not at a point in my life where I can say no fucks to give. I'm going to wear my tank tops. Look, Any other day you see me, I'm in shorts, tank tops, and flip-flops. That's my preference. And
It's Florida.
That's Florida. That's what I'm comfortable in. I obviously am not wearing that to work. And, I have a place of employment that I need to be covered up. So I dress like a frickin' nun.
So your 17-year-old son wants to get a tattoo, and you will not allow him?
No.
Really? How old do you feel that he needs to be? I think I got my first tattoo I think I was 17.
I was 15. My dad took me.
So you hypocritical fuck.
Yeah, absolutely. And he calls me out on it all the time.
What's your son's name?
Landon.
Landon, speak to me. I'm going to convince your mom to get you a tattoo.
Yeah, he's tried. So the conversation that we have had is, I want to be there with you. I want to know what it is that you want. You're not just going to get something random. I want to know why you want it. And I have told him, when I do agree for your first set, he's saying when I'm 18, I don't need but he is a mama's boy. He's not going to pull that stunt with me. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Like, it needs to be covered. It needs to be in a place where you can cover it, whether it's on the back of your shoulder, or if you are going for a job interview, you need to cover it. Because right now, look, I don't care what anybody says. We still probably have another decade or two of employers who, they want to see clean skin. They don't want to see somebody who's tatted up, who's got piercings all over their face. There is a level of professionalism. There is a look that comes with professionalism that does need to be maintained, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that depends on the category of the job.
Correct.
Right? So in terms of...
Look, if my son goes to college, he plays football and becomes a professional football player, have fucking at it. You want to tattoo yourself from head to toe, go for it, because you're going to be making money. And you're not going to have to worry about anything else.
Right. Yeah.
But, if you expect to be the CEO of a large corporation, a bank, a pharmaceutical company, they don't want to see some tatted up guy necessarily walking in trying to have serious conversations. I know it sounds crazy, and I'm not one to judge. I have got tattoos visible just like yours. And I have had people look at me differently. I used to have piercings and not tattoos. I still have my tattoos.
Please don't tell me you had a septum ring.
No, I've never had a septum ring, but I did have my nose pierced. I have holes in my ear. I only have 3 in.
Right.
I had my tongue pierced, and all of that's gone now, and it comes with maturity. And I think that, when you're 17, 18 years old, getting these piercings, getting these tattoos, you're not really looking forward to what the future holds for you. Did I ever think that I was going to be in the role that I'm in today? No. I thought I was going to be a medical assistant or something. I mean, I was in college. I first pharmacy, law, didn't really know where I was going to go. I became a professional student, eventually settled on business because I started having kids. And, the commitment to school got a little bit challenging. But at any rate, I would have never thought that I was going to be in the role that I'm in today, or even prior to my role. I was a very successful sales rep, laboratory sales rep. And do you think that I was able to walk in with all my visible tattoos and talking to doctors and have quality conversation? You don't think that your appearance has an impact
100% it does.
of the conversations you have, but it most certainly does. And
100%.
That's what I am trying to teach him, is until you know what it is that you want to do, just wait. You have all this time to get a tattoo. Why do you need it now? If you want it today, you're going to want it 10 years from now.
I'm the wrong guy to talk to about impulsive behavior.
I've made a lot of impulsive decisions.
I live my life by impulsive decisions.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also in a position where I can say fuck you to any kind of...
And you are fortunate to be in that position. But you've also, did whatever you needed to do, made the sacrifices that you needed to make in order to be in the position to say, I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to, get what I want, whatever. Right now, we are molding him into a young adult. And I don't want him making all of these irrational decisions that maybe down the road he's going to regret. And it's okay to have regrets, because ultimately that's what shapes it. Yeah. But if there is something right now that I can prevent him from doing, or at least say, this is my experience, look at me right now, learn from it. I'm not saying you can't ever have a tattoo. I'm not saying I dislike tattoos. I've been talking to my husband about getting another tattoo and where that's going to go.
Does your husband have tats?
He does.
And what's your husband's position on Landon getting a tattoo?
Not until he's old enough, and the same, because he's trying to bait me right now for his 17th birthday to get him a tattoo. No.
You're hardcore. I'll give you that.
I mean, look, at some point, he's going to be making his own decisions. And whether it's sex, drugs, rock and roll, doesn't matter what it is, we all get to that point in our life. I just hope that I have encouraged him enough and supported him enough that he is going to make the right decision. And everybody screws up, but as long as there is a path to redemption and it is not a major fuck up, then hey, he's a young man, and I think that we really, really, as parents, not adult, as parents, we really need to focus on our youth and molding them into good quality young men and young women. Otherwise, we end up with septum rings and purple hair.
That was beautifully said. So one last question to close it off.
Mhm.
What would you like your legacy to be?
Wow. I've never thought about that in what capacity? In general, with my children, with
You can define that
politics?
however you like.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that that's a tough question. I feel like I'd want to be known for my hard work, for my dedication, for always making my family a priority. I know a lot of people don't necessarily like to be defined by family,
But why?
but
And why should we succumb to the definitions of somebody else?
well, that's societal norms, right? They try to force that onto us, but that's why I am happy to say that I'm okay if my family defines me. I am okay if my children define me right now, because that's the point that I'm at in my life. My children and my family are my life. They are what I'm living for right now. Of course, I live for myself,
Mhm.
but they are what I live for. They are what I work for, and they're the ones who currently encourage me to keep on moving forward. And that's why I continue to do the things that I do. In terms of what I'm doing for social media, I just want people to have some common sense, to think for themselves, to not just read a headline and not read past the headlines, to not ask any additional questions. There was a point in time where we could have conversation and take things at face value. We're not there anymore because so many people manipulate a narrative to fit their agenda.
Unfortunately, and I agree. And I think what you want your legacy to be, I think is beautiful. It was a pleasure. And an
Thank you for
honor.
having
Thank
me.
you so
I
much.
appreciate it. All right.
We're out.